Now we can all be honest, the first ever Bon Appetit test, the homemade Pringles, it left a lot to be desired. You know, I think I got the wrong potato starch. I did try 3 or 4 different times, but it wasn't up to my standards. Today we are back on the Bon Appetit train trying out Claire's Twinkies, which I believe are the first recipe she ever remade. It's definitely one of the easier recipes she's ever remade. It's only 2 components, the cake and the cream filling. How hard can remaking a simple Twinkie possibly be? To begin my Twinkie excursion, I grabbed some vegetable oil and kosher salt, some sugar and cake flour, some buttermilk and baking powder, 2 sticks of butter, some baking soda, cream of tartar, and some eggs. Now immediately I'm slightly confused because she says add the dry ingredients together, but normally sugar is considered a wet ingredient, oddly enough. But based on the order of the ingredients and the fact that she doesn't really mention where to put it, I'm just gonna take a leap of faith and guess that I'm gonna add that in with the cake flour, the salt, the baking powder, and the baking soda. Let's pray. By the way, to anybody out there who says a stand mixer is a waste of money, you are very wrong. Once that was mixed up, I began to separate a couple of eggs. You need 5 yolks and 3 whites. If you're a lot better at this than me, you won't get to the 3rd white and then drop a broken yolk into it. No big deal. I didn't scream or wake up my neighbors at 11 p.m., don't you worry. Moving on, I added some of my wet ingredients to the dry. The 2 sticks of butter, a cup of the buttermilk, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And then once this mix looked nice and smooth and uniform, I added in my 5 egg yolks and a little bit of vanilla extract. Right off the bat, there's a very strange odor coming off of this. I'm assuming it's from the buttermilk because it's kind of like slightly off sour cream. Is that supposed to happen? Maybe. Maybe it's bad and I'll be sick for the next month, who knows? Now you do have to remove this mixture and clean out the bowl, so you can then add in your cream of tartar and your egg whites, and then beat those together until you get some stiff peaks right about here. Cue all the hundreds of comments critiquing the way I fold in egg whites for the 25th time. I'm uninterested in the comments at this point, so leave me alone. Also, I had to buy this Twinkie cake pan on Amazon. Don't ask me why it's Minions themed, it was just the cheapest one I could find. I also keep forgetting to buy nonstick spray for this new studio, so I just basically use a little bit of oil on a paper towel. It should work the same. Into my Minion molds, I piped my now pretty fluffy and airy cake batter, thanks to the egg whites. I was trying to fill these 3/4 of the way up. I'll probably experiment a little bit and see how much I need to add. But then I threw this first batch in a 350-degree oven for 20 minutes, and I overfilled a few of them, to say the least. I will say this first one looks pretty promising. The next few did not, because they were breaking up and they just weren't cooked, I don't think. So I threw them back in the oven for a couple more minutes, and then eventually they all popped out. Now with this one batter, I filled this pan almost 3 times. So there's 4, 8, 12, 16 Twinkies. That's times almost 3. It was a lot of Twinkies happening here. We also have to make this complicated looking buttercream, which I'm absolutely dreading. I did not have good luck with frosting recipes, but I separated some more eggs. And then you have to add in your egg whites and your sugar into the bowl of the stand mixer and use it as a double boiler. I don't know if you're supposed to continue whisking this the whole time it's on the burner. I know it's supposed to come up to 160 degrees supposedly, so I have a thermometer that I am checking with regularly. You want to whip the heck out of this mixture in your stand mixer until the sides of the bowl cool down a little bit so it's not burning your hands when you touch it. And then 1 tablespoon at a time, add in 2 sticks of very softened butter. The more butter I added, the less confident I was with this. It looked more oily and greasy and not light or fluffy at all the more I added. I was giving it at least a minute or 2 between every tablespoon of butter I added, It's on the highest setting too. I don't know what I have done wrong. But after I added some of the vanilla extract and I tasted it a bit, it doesn't taste bad. It's not completely separated or anything, so I'm just gonna go with it. One by one, I piped my Twinkies with an injector tip. I will say this was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Sometimes you get some cracking along the sides. But it went pretty well, and after I got a couple good looking ones, it's time to give them a try. Compared to the Pringle disaster, I am pretty happy with these. They look very uniform in color. There's no big cracks. They have that same oily, greasy touch that Twinkies do. That's not too bad, actually. It's got plenty of filling. I did a decent job with that. The cake is really good. I definitely messed up the frosting though. The frosting just kind of tastes like lightly sugared butter. They're not bad though, and they didn't take me that long either. I would say you could probably knock this recipe out in less than an hour and a half. I'm also eating the whole thing without feeling sickly right after, which I can't say for normal Twinkies. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, slap a like on this one. Let me know what Bon Appetit recipes you want to see next. Look out for this week's Instagram poll for the next BuzzFeed test. Other than that, have an awesome beginning of your week, and I will see you right back here next time. Peace.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my 18. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.